I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good day, Giorgio, Minguzzi. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful day?
It's amazing. It's fine. Thank you.
Oh, it's a great pleasure to connect with you. Tell us, what part of the world are you in right now?
I am in a small town in northern Italy called Bagnacavallo. It's an ancient town, 120 kilometers south Venice.
All right. What is the average population of that town?
16,000.
All right. Really a small town. Interesting. And, well, tell me, I'm in Trinidad and you're in Italy, right? Which of your talents is responsible for us meeting?
Probably the talent is my wide network of connection. Networking is one of my assets in the real life, not just in the podcasting area. So probably what drove you on my LinkedIn page is the network of my connection.
Yeah, it was, kind of, sort of. So I connected with you because you are a podcaster, right? And then when I connected thereafter, I realized that I couldn't understand the podcast because it wasn't in my first language, right?
You are right.
So I reached out and I wondered if his English is good, right? And come to find out, your English is amazing. So I'm glad that we did connect.
No, you are too kind. It's not true. But anyway, okay.
So
it's okay for make an interview like this.
But tell me,
it's barely sufficient.
Tell me, who did you learn the skill of podcasting and networking from?
Okay, you said well. I think the key word is learn. This skill is not inside you. This skill, you have to educate it with training. You have to correct your habits. You have to forge your habits. It is not innate inside you. Maybe you have a predisposition, but nothing will save you from the hard work. You have to work on yourself. And I learned this skill from my uncle that is a master in networking. He is a black belt in networking. I have the chance to work with him a few years at the beginning of my career. Then I have got many others because during the path you find different master. But anyway, people that can teach these are very, very important. So if I have to answer you this question, but frankly speaking, my uncle teach me this. I learned it from my uncle.
Now that you've been networking and seen the value of it, why will you continue to repeat that skill?
It's a precious asset because there is a point when you give value to the people, you can ask back. So networking is not just something like a mafia style, yes, I have my friend, I work with them, they give me favor. No, it's not working like this. You give value, you provide value, and then the more you wait, the more you can ask back when you have a need, a real need. So it's precious. There was a guy that was working with me and was Chinese, and he said, I have one only asset, my agenda. And he put off on the pocket a small, tiny agenda full of name. If I lose everything, I can restart from this. So this is an example that is not really smart, but can explain very well what is the value of the networking.
Yeah.
A pure networking, not something like I have a favor to ask back or something that is very low level.
Yeah, I definitely, I got that from you in the beginning of our conversation. So before we even started recording, but it was just fascinating to hear the depth at which this goes, because I do not want it to be misconstrued in terms of the individual that's manipulating. I don't think that's what you're speaking of. You're actually speaking about the value that does come when you serve and then others in turn serve as well. Is that accurate?
No, absolutely. And this is the same for the podcasting. You provide value to people and you are not knowing them.
Yes.
Because your audience, you don't know them one by one. But time to time, they phone you and ask something. They write you email. They contact you on social network and so on. So you provide value for, it's pure value because you don't know them.
Yes.
And you are not able to ask you back immediately. So this is something that is very similar to networking. You provide value and then you receive. It's like karma.
Yes, it is amazing, my friend. Well, Zig Ziglar sums it up pretty amazingly, where he said, if you help enough other people get what they want, then in return you will get what you want. And I think that sums it up pretty amazingly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
So tell me one other thing, Giorgio, you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
Ooh la la. Things change very fast in my life. 2 years ago, I was an employee because my career was like an employee in a corporate, a very huge corporate. Now I am freelance. So I have to tell you, I am podcasting every week from 2 years, not 3, 2 years. But the things if I have to answer precisely to your question, the only thing that I keep going and do constantly is not related to work or business or podcasting, is to teach prayers to my 2 sons during the night. Every night, all the night, since around 3 years, I sit with them and I teach them to pray before to go to bed. That is the only things I have in mind that I do constantly in the last 3 years.
How does that make you feel?
Okay, from the podcast side, I am very satisfied because it's an amazing tool of marketing and personal branding. And I think you that making this, you can frankly understand easily how powerful is the podcasting at the level of interaction with the people, really. For my 2 sons, is something I really want to do because I think they deserve it. My father did with me, my grandfather did with my father, and I feel that I am a part of a long journey. So the fruit will arrive. Maybe I will be in my grave at that time, but it's not a problem. Somebody in Italy, you have to plant olives. Olives, I think is the right name. With the oil, you make
olives.
oil, no?
Yeah, we call olives.
Yes, olives. But when you put the tree, you have to wait more than years to have the fruits. So maybe you die, but you don't avoid to put the tree in the land because you have to do this. It's the part of your job. So I'm reasoning like a farmer.
Yeah, I love it.
I am putting the seed, and maybe somebody else will bring the fruits.
Love it. Ooh. Well, tell us the name of the podcast. I mean, I'm sure there are Spanish listeners, right? Well, Italian, right?
Italian,
yeah.
yes.
So definitely.
The podcast is Merita Business Podcast. Is a podcast related to digital transformation from the point of view of the business. So it's called Merita. That the translation could be that has a sense to do, or that merit to be done. The sense is business are good. If you make good whatever you make, you contribute to the peace and the joy in the world. Also, if you make like a small screw or an hammer, if you make good hammer, people can make a good job. So you improve the world.
Yes.
And so in this sense, all the marketing to let you more known in the world because you make good things is a good action. And this is the sense of the podcast. And the topic are related to digital transformation for small, medium business to train them to understand how digital transformation can impact to their job.
Love it. Well, amazing audience. You're hearing it live here with Giorgio Minguzzi. Giorgio, say it your way. Let's hear it.
My name is Giorgio Minguzzi.
Yeah, wow, he says it so good. I mean, it is his name, but he says it. Right.
It's easy for me. My mother called me like this from the first day. But believe me, there is a trick in Italian because I call it Giorgio, but my name if you follow the rule of Italian, is Giorgio.
Giorgio.
So it's it's very different. My mother is came from this region that is amazing. It's called Romagna. We'll never say Giorgio. My mother called me Giorgio.
Yeah.
So my name is the name that my mother gave me.
Love it. Well, Giorgio. Let's switch gears for a moment now, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Giorgio, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My dog. It was the first memory that I had. It was a Spanish. I don't remember the name in English of the dog.
Spanish.
It was a cocker Spanish.
Yeah.
Cocker Spanish, and I remember that I was 2.5, 3 years, and the dog was looking at me. So
that was
this is
it?
my first memory.
All right. So
Yes,
why do you think this memory is so clear?
Probably because I was scared. But at the end, my mother told me that the dog was very nice with me. So maybe it was funny. I don't remember. You asked me the first memory. I have this picture in my mind with the dog is looking at me with the big black eyes. And this is what I remember.
Yeah. Well, I definitely have no connection there. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Yeah, I it's easy. With or Without You by U2.
All right. Well, we love that.
Yes, because we did a party. It was my first party arranged by myself with my schoolmates. So I remember because we entitled the party With or Without You. So yes, of course, when I was 12, this was the song.
Love it. Well, my friend, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quick here. Are you ready, Giorgio?
Yes, I'm ready.
Giorgio, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes, my wife said that my older son is exactly same like me in the look and in the manuality and in the kind of how
his mannerism. Yeah.
Yes, he's the same. So he's the guy. He's the guy.
So you said you have your wife, right? So you're definitely married. You have 2 children, right?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes, of course.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yeah, I have several circle of friends, and I am a part of a huge family that is the radio amateur family. Since I was 8 years old, I start to play with radio. And we are a bit freak, a geek. And radio amateurs believe that they are a family. I don't know why. It's crazy, but it's true. It's true.
It is what it is. Yeah, definitely. Well, what about TV? Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Not so. No. 3 hours is too much. I have no time.
What about 3 hours a week?
A little bit less, I think. I see time to time some series on Netflix, but not so often.
And what about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
I am a slave of the computer. It's my daily job and my passion also. Yes, more than 8 hours a day.
Giorgio, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
Be happy.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you lived that, my friend. You definitely made me happy. You made me happy today. All right. Well, my friend, we have definitely reached to the end of this conversation. This has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're welcome. Giorgio, I'm leaving this in, right? Giorgio Minguzzi, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you, Angel. Ciao.
You're welcome. Ciao.
Ciao a tutti.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition the signs and symptoms and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.